If you had two civilizations, one with infinite intelligence and the other with infinite strength, which one would win? Today, we're gonna find out. Because after 100 years of these civilizations building up their army, it'll be time for them to go to war.
I gave one kingdom infinite intelligence but 0 strength, and the other I gave infinite strength and 0 intelligence. Then I watched their first children grow up. One would lead with pure strategy, and the other with pure brutality. The question was simple: can intelligence survive without strength, or will stupidity win through sheer power?
This is a tough one. This is a doozy, I gotta be honest. Because here's the thing. I think that the dumb civilization will be able to populate as much as, if not even more, than the geniuses. And if you have an army that's bigger and stronger than the other army, even if they're smarter, I feel like they would win. But on the other hand, the smart army will have tactics, potentially better military equipment, so I can see this going either way.
We start by creating the world and splitting it in half. 10 geniuses, genetically modify them to have insane intelligence. 10 brutes, genetically modify them to have overwhelming power. We start at year 1. Both sides create kingdoms, and they both seem just as confused. The geniuses were the first to expand aggressively. The brutes already have a tent, but the geniuses completely skipped that step and went straight to a house.
Whoa.
But the brutes never struggled with danger or getting resources, because, I mean, one single brute could take on a whole wolf. Meanwhile, the geniuses struggled with the dangers of the outside world. The entire village had to gang up just to kill one wolf. And by year 3, the brutes had their first ever child. And it was the reincarnation of Jim Bob. And she was unbelievably strong,
Shout out
being
Jim
one of
Bob.
the most brutal creatures I've ever seen, massacring multiple generations of families of chickens, doing it all without a second thought.
I'm not gonna lie, Jim Bob is making me think that the strength people are going to dominate this thing. I actually, now that I think about it, the geniuses are gonna have a way better civilization. It's not even gonna be close. They'll have mansions, libraries, watchtowers, all of the advanced technologies that you might need. I just don't see entire army of Jim Bobs dying. Like, I just don't think that's gonna happen.
Thanks to the brute strength, they were easily able to gather a bunch of resources.
They have a windmill
Then the
already.
first ever genius child was born, and it was the reincarnation of Timmy, who was a genius but also very weak. Thanks to being abnormally smart, he was made a leader at 4 years old. Meanwhile, Jim Bob was busy smashing in more chicken skulls. By year 9, both sides were still competing to see who could advance the fastest. The brutes with all their resources
pretty
could
close.
mess up and still succeed.
What does seem a little bit off to me is that the brutes, with their 0 intelligence, are still able to even make houses and make windmills. Because what does that say about me as a human? You know? I don't think I'm that dumb. I'm definitely not the smartest person in the world, but I'll tell you what, I have no idea how to build a house. I have no idea how to build a windmill or farm. My point is, these guys are not as dumb as they might seem. Because if they're able to build all of that stuff and understand how to farm, like, they're not stupid. They're not dumb at all.
The geniuses, being weaker, had to use their brains and use their resources more sparingly. Timmy and another intellectual child were having a very complicated conversation. Meanwhile, the brutes were debating Dookie. The queen of geniuses somehow got in a fight with a raccoon and almost lost, but she ran for her life and got some food to heal up just in time. Because before she knew it, she was surrounded by wolves and began getting attacked, running past her lover and letting him deal with all the issues. But then she saw one of her children beginning to get attacked. So even on the brink of death, she ran to save her child. But that is what ended up killing the queen of geniuses.
That was not a very genius play, if I must say so myself. At that point, you know, you're 1 HP, you probably got a broken leg, yet you still decide to chase down a pack of wolves. Doesn't seem like the smartest play to me for the geniuses.
Making Timmy, her child, the new king of geniuses at 9 years old. And now the weakest but smartest kid had to run an entire kingdom. Meanwhile, Jim Bob was chilling by the campfire without a care in the world. Oh yeah, and she killed wolves for fun and collected their bones.
She's
She
one-shotting
began
them.
racking up kills, and at 13 years old, she had already become a veteran. Meanwhile, Timmy was trying to figure out how to run the weakest but smartest nation. But the poor little guy couldn't handle all the stress, and the emotions got to him.
See, here's the thing, I think. This is the only angle the geniuses can take at this point, is that when the wall goes down and the war is supposedly going to break out, the geniuses need to send scouts, understand that they're mismatched, and try to befriend the enemy. I know that sounds stupid. Why would you want to befriend the enemy? But the smartest way to go about that type of war is to infiltrate from within, gain their trust, and then, before they know it, shebang, you kill
them in the night. You kill them in their sleep.
Look, I know it's dirty and maybe isn't too ethical, but I think it's gonna be their only angle at winning this thing.
By year 17, the brutes continued to aggressively advance, already having a mine and a town hall, but the geniuses didn't want to risk losing any more people, so they lagged behind and had way fewer resources.
See, that is
Timmy
not
put
at all
his
what
sorrows
I thought was
behind
gonna
him
happen.
and worked on expanding his kingdom. By year 19, Jim Bob was now 17 years old and a full-grown adult. Timmy was now 16 and finally fit into the clothes of a king, and for some reason he put other children in charge. By year 26, the geniuses finally began slowly advancing, using their resources wisely, and finally building a mine. The brutes already had advanced housing and palaces. Jim Bob had now become the captain of the brutes' army, probably for how brutal she was. By year 31, Timmy invested the geniuses' resources into watchtowers, which when active would shoot down enemies nearby. By year 44, both kingdoms simultaneously created new villages. The geniuses created theirs close to home, and the brutes placed theirs far up north. And then I found that the brutes created a training barracks. It seemed like brutality and being a warrior was very important in their culture, because to them the strongest warrior was chosen as their next king. Timmy began to think more strategically, and to make up for the genius's weakness, he placed watchtowers all over. By year 53, Timmy had created a new religion, which would give them a major advantage if it ever came to going to war with the brutes.
Wait, why? I guess in this game, having a religion gives you extra abilities. I'm not really sure what type, but But we are finally starting to see the geniuses do the genius type things where they're building watchtowers and they're actually making strategic moves and advancements. While honestly, the brutes are doing good too. I didn't think the brutes would be building all the barracks, be building all of those mansions and stuff like that. So the brutes are doing way better than I thought, but we still have a lot of time left. If the geniuses are able to exponentially advance, we could have a really close war on our hands.
At 50 years old, Timmy became wise, and also fat, and it seemed like he was trying to repopulate
Come on,
the geniuses all by himself.
Holy
the geniuses
cow.
had been using their resources carefully, and things started to look up for them. Jim Bob had retired from being captain of the brutes' army, maybe because she was fat? Then a vicious band of bandits appeared on the geniuses' side, and began to bomb them. Mere minutes after their
Wait,
arrival,
what?
they brutally murdered one of the geniuses, beginning to set fire to the geniuses' forest. They called for backup and suddenly geniuses came running from everywhere, banding together to kill the bandits, one by one. However, the geniuses still suffered casualties.
Wait, how is that fair at all? That they got ambushed by bandits? Although the geniuses may have lost a couple of troops, a couple of civilians here and there, the silver lining is that although a small battle, it's a battle nonetheless, giving them some experience, giving them a good life lesson, a good battle lesson, which perhaps they'll be able to write books about, educate people about, and come up with better war tactics in the future. So although some of their people died, it potentially may turn into a very good sacrifice that in the long term will benefit their army more than it actually hurt them.
Now realizing that there was much work that needed to be done if they wanted to survive. On the brute side, a biomass appeared,
There we go.
infecting their land. But they were too stupid to realize, and when they did, they charged in head first. And they did manage to kill it, but little green goobs still scattered around. And without much thought, they overdid their attack and set fire to the trees. This pyromaniac literally set himself ablaze.
Wow.
The entire village of brutes had to come over to put out the fire. By year 64,
See, they didn't lose a single troop in that ambush attack. I think this might be a wash, boys. I'm starting to think that the super soldiers are going to destroy the geniuses.
the King of Geniuses was writing the first ever book, while the brutes were arguing about whose fault it was for setting the forest on fire. By now it was clear what each side's goals were. The brutes owned a lot of land, but made no use of half of it. Jim Bob had now become a simple, plain farmer. By year 73, the geniuses created their third village. Their cities were designed specifically to be more compact and efficient. Meanwhile, for the brutes, it was clear that no thought, no process, and no planning was put behind the distribution of their villages. The geniuses' brains only got bigger as they all consumed the knowledge of Timmy. For being stupid, the brutes weren't doing too bad. Instead of reading, Jim Bob just spent her days singing and dancing. By year 92, the geniuses had a population of over 300. Even their most remote villages were actually quite advanced. Oh, what is this? A crab statue? Well, you know we gotta bless that because we are the Crab Gang. Timmy spent his days claiming land. Meanwhile, the brutes showed no signs of advancing farther than they already had. I mean, they're not even upgrading this village. What's going on here? There's only one dude in that entire village. And then it was year 100.
Okay, before we get into the war, which seems like it's about to happen, I like to see the technological and armory advancements that each civilization has made. Like, do the geniuses have way better armor, way better weaponry than the brutes? Because if the brutes have the same weapons as the geniuses, I don't think this is going to be close. The geniuses in those 100 years needed to advance technologically so much further and so much faster than the brutes for this war to really be close, in my opinion. And that is something that we don't necessarily know. So I would like to know that, but I guess we're going to find out the hard way.
Timmy finally gained control of the religion powers and was able to create bubble shields.
Whoa!
And then it was time for the wall to be
that is
dropped.
cool. Bubble
the leader
shields.
of the brutes went over to expand their territory, but they were too slow because the geniuses were already putting up houses. And just like that, in what seemed like a blink of an eye, both kingdoms' territories were already clashing. The geniuses slapping a house right on the corner. And I don't think the brutes liked that the geniuses placed a house right on the corner of their territory, because without a second thought, the brutes caved into the temptation and went to war with the geniuses. The brutes were preparing their soldiers, but the geniuses had prepared a secret weapon, a god shotgun.
See, that is what I'm talking about. I didn't even know that there were shotguns in WorldBox. Normally, they get like bows and arrows and swords. Shotguns, obviously, are a massive, massive, massive advantage. They're literally bringing guns to a sword fight. The tides have officially shifted in favor of the geniuses, I think. I don't know how they're going to lose if they have shotguns at their disposal. But here we go. Let's see how this unravels.
I see now. So this is what they were saving all the resources for. Despite the geniuses getting declared war on, it seemed like they were the aggressors.
Oh my God.
Marching forward, blasting everything out of their way. Even though the brutes had so much more health than the geniuses, and did way more damage, they had no clue what hit them. To them, it was a metal rod that shot out pebbles of death.
Oh my God.
The geniuses' rapid fire did not
even
end
lose a single soldier
until a group of the brutes ganged up on them and actually managed to kill the geniuses. And one of the brutes even got their hands on a shotgun as well. Could it be that the tanks could turn the tides? I mean, there's no way, because even this 11-year-old genius had a shotgun. It seemed like a vision came to Timmy. Timmy gathered a giant militia of all of his citizens, getting ready to blast the brutes away. And as if that wasn't enough, he began preparing a bubble shield ritual, and then his army marched forward, absolutely obliterating any of the brutes in their way. And things kinda got out of hand a little. I mean, this was a new technology. The geniuses managed to light themselves on fire.
Oh my God.
Perfect timing as always, Timmy's bubble shield finally activated. The geniuses went forward in a wall formation, wiping out the brutes' population. Somehow, Jim Bob was peacefully picking flowers.
Oh, Jim Bob, what are you doing, bro?
Be forced to join in on the fight. Despite being physically weaker, the geniuses were untouched. Jim Bob actually managed to kill one of the geniuses' soldiers and get her hands on a shotgun. But that didn't matter because the geniuses' army just absolutely annihilated her, deleting her from the plane of existence. And by the way, this is not sped up, this is real time. As the brutes' numbers dropped, they abandoned their second village. But since their king had died, they made the leader of that village the new king of brutes. This whole time, Timmy had planned this destruction cold and calculated, like a Sigma. And before they knew it, the brutes' kingdom had been taken over, and at year 107, celebratory fireworks were going off as the kingdom of brutes had been destroyed, leaving nothing left of the strong people's civilization.
Holy smokes. There you have it. When it comes to war, being a genius is way more valuable than just brute strength. This was really fun to watch, and if you guys want me to watch even more videos just like this, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and click right here.